God, I'm back. All right, now look. Today is a very, very special day. You guys know that I have an infinite love for diving into other cultures' cuisine. And today is a very good one because I have been asked to work on this type of food for quite some time and I haven't gotten around to it. Because to be quite frank, when I'm cooking someone else's culture's food, I like to do a lot of research. I like to study up on it, understand the history behind it, figure out where I can find the best ingredients so that I can try to be, keyword, try to be, as authentic and as respectful as process. And today we are going to be focusing on the beginning stages of all things Haitian food. And if there's one thing that I know for sure, there are two things that must be in my kitchen if I'm going to be making Haitian food in order for any of this journey to be a success. And the first is Epis. Now, I hope that I'm saying that right. I think I am. But essentially what that is a wet green seasoning. It is a flavor bomb that can be added to soups, to stocks, to meats, seafood. You can use it as a marinade. It is multi-purpose. You can use it in almost any and everything. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. Some of you guys are going to be looking at it thinking that it looks very familiar to something else, but you can't quite put your finger on what it is. Well, I can tell you, it kind of looks like sofrito, which is kind of similar, but there's a few things that differentiate between the two. But if you want to know how to make sofrito, it is available in my cookbook, Cultural Mosaic of Food to Around the Globe. Purchase it. It's available right now. But let's get in the kitchen, child, because we about to jump into all things Haitian, honey. Okay, so let's go ahead and run down the ingredients. You're going to need some vinegar for cleaning. I have a bundle of cilantro, 2 bundles of flat leaf Italian parsley. Use whatever type of parsley you can find, but just don't use dried. It needs to be fresh. I have 2 yellow bell peppers, 2 red bell peppers, 2 orange bell peppers, 2 green bell peppers. I'm going to be using 3 habaneros. If you can find Scotch bonnet, use them, but I was not about to drive an hour and a half to the market that has them for that. So this will be just fine. I'm going to be using some thyme, 2 bundles of green onion, 3 lime, 1 large sweet onion, 1 red onion. I have about 1.5 cups of whole cloves of garlic. You can use more, you can use less. I'm going to be using Goya adobo all-purpose seasoning, complete seasoning, the chicken bouillon from Knorr. What is not traditional, but this is not going to alter the flavor, it's literally just going to enhance the flavor, is MSG. And then the oil I'm going to be using is vegetable oil, but you can use olive oil if you would like. You see that? You see that? You see that? You see that? Don't ask me for the damn ingredient list. Come on, child. Now, before we get too far into this, go on ahead and get yourself an oversized bowl because we have a lot of cleaning to do. It is extremely important to make sure that you are taking the time to thoroughly clean these veggies, and you're going to see why in the very next clip. So listen to me now. Don't skip this step. See, this is the reason why I can't stress how important it is to make sure that you are washing your vegetables. There are people out here in the world trying to convince you that it's not necessary. Do you see this? That is literally mounds of dirt. So please do not skip this step and make sure that you are properly washing your veggies. So first things first, I'm going to remove the tips off of my green onion. I'm going to sit those to the side and then place these down into the bowl. Next, I'm going to be going in and I'm going to be removing the tips off of the garlic. From what I understand and all of the people that I've been watching and studying up on, they say that that's optional, but you guys know that I'll be doing this anyway. So going ahead and take the tips off of the garlic and also add that directly to the bowl. Next up, I've taken my white onion and I've cut that into 4s because I'm going to be running all of this through my food processor, well, through my blender actually. So breaking it down smaller will make my life a lot easier. I'm going to do the exact same thing to the red onion. Red onion in the bowl. Next up, I'm also going to pit out all of my peppers. I'm going to remove the top, but this top part here that we usually be discarding, I'm going to make use of all of that. So essentially all I'm doing is removing the seeds. And to make my life a lot easier, like I said, I'm going to be putting this into my blender. So I'm just cutting these down into little strips and also adding them directly to the bowl. I'm going to be repeating this process to the red bell pepper, the green bell pepper, the yellow, and as you can see currently, the orange. And all of this is all going into the exact same bowl that we've been working with all along. Be very careful so that you do not cut yourself. And I just want to show you guys something. You see how I'm able to just go through this without any real work? That's what happens when you have a really sharp knife. You can go through and slice. I'm not even putting my finger on the back of this. This is just going through this just like butter. And that helps when you have sharp knives. I'm telling you, working with the sharp knife is going to be your best friend. People believe sometimes that a sharp knife is dangerous. No, working with a dull knife is more dangerous because a dull knife will slip and slide. A sharp knife will cut straight through like butter, and then you ain't got to worry about it. And it's also a lot easier to cut things a lot faster and a lot quicker when a knife is sharp. So just keep that in mind. Alrighty, you guys. So as you can see, I now have all of my peppers, my onion, and I also have the habanero and the garlic in here. What I have left out is the lime, the thyme, the cilantro, and the parsley. We're going to be cleaning that parsley and the cilantro separately because, as you already saw, it is covered in dirt, and I don't want to get all of this all mixed up in that. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to add in a half a cup of white vinegar, and I'm going to cover this up completely with cold water and allow this to sit in this for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to rinse it off under cold water once again. Once you can kind of see that it's completely covered in water, go on ahead and turn the water off so that way you're not diluting that vinegar too much. And just go in, massage everything down just to make sure that everything is submerged in the vinegar. And once again, allow that to sit in this for 5 minutes. Then I'm going to drain it off, rinse it under cold water, and then set it to the side. And so since we've already seen how absolutely disgusting the bottom of this cilantro is, I'm just going to go on ahead and chop that off and slide that off. So that way I can already kind of eliminate a lot of that anyway. But as you guys can see, there is so much dirt still built into this. So that's the reason why we have got to make sure that we soak this. I mean, look at that. That's absolutely insane to me. But so let me actually go on ahead and rinse off this cilantro in its own separate bowl because this is just loaded with mounds and mounds and mounds of dirt. Alrighty, so to avoid my vinegar water solution to not turn into a muddy mess, I've gone on ahead and pre-rinsed this off with just cold water. Now that I've done that, I have a bowl here that I'm going to put a splash of white vinegar in, and I can now take my greens and dip them into this vinegar solution. And just once again, make sure that if there's any dirt or anything left on these, it'll all kind of sink to the bottom. I'm going to allow these to sit in here for a minute or so and then carefully remove them out and then rinse them off under just cold water once again. And now that all of my beautiful cilantro and parsley is nice and clean, we can add all of that to the bowl. So now I have all of my delicious veggies in the bowl outside of the thyme and the lime juice. Speaking of the lime juice, let's go on ahead and get that juice out of those. I'm going to start with getting the juice out of 2 limes, and then I'm going to give it a taste once it's all mixed together. And if I decide that I want more, then I'll add in the third. I'm now going to go in and remove the thyme from the stem itself. And as you can see, all you have to do is slide your finger against it, and then it's just going to slide right off. I don't like to add the stems into any of my marinades or any of these type of green seasonings because to me, I just find the stems to be way too bitter. So I don't keep them in there. So I'm going to do this, and then I will let you guys know exactly how much I end up using once I measure it out with the measuring spoon. Okay, so I have gone in and measured this out, and so I have plucked 2 tablespoons of fresh thyme. Go on ahead and set that to the side. Now, in regards to the limes, I'm only going to be using the juice from one of these limes because this is actually already a little bit too much to begin with, but I'm going to go on ahead and throw it in there. But I definitely don't want it to be too limey, so I'm only going to use the juice from one. I would honestly say you do not want to end up with any more than about 2 tablespoons worth. If you put too much in it, then it's going to start to take on a totally different flavor profile, and we don't want that. Alrighty, party people, it's time to put all this together. We have all of our veggies officially cleaned. We have our thyme separated here, the juice from the 1 lime. I have all of my seasonings ready to go, and I'm going to be doing this in a blender. And like I said, I will be using vegetable oil in this recipe, but you can absolutely use a different oil if you want. Now, I'm going to let you know this right now. I'm going to be only adding in about 2 tablespoons of oil at a time. I'm trying to keep it as less oil as possible because I know that when I mix this in with other things, there's going to be oil of some kind involved. So I don't need this to be super oily, but I also don't want it to be too dry. So we'll find the perfect balance, and I'll let you know exactly how much. But for right now, we can go on ahead and start loading up our blender. And I would advise you just go on ahead and do it little by little. Don't try to put it all in at one time. And as far as the blending is concerned, there really is no right or wrong way in how you blend this down because it's all going to get broken down together. But I like to go in with the onion first. I like to go in with the bulkier things first, like the onions and the peppers, and then I'll leave the cilantro and the parsley last. And the key here is while you're breaking stuff down, you don't have to make it so much so that it has fully broken down, just enough so that you can keep adding things to the blender. And just letting you know, if you have to do it in batches, that's completely fine. I took some of this out because what's going to end up happening is once it's all blended down, then I'm going to end up putting it all back in here anyway, and then adding in the spices, and I'm going to do that in increments. Or you can put it all into your large bowl here once it's all done, and then with an immersion blender, you can then add in the spices and the oil and all of that. But, you know, whatever way you come up with to get everything broken down, that's all you got to do. Again, there's no right or wrong way. You just want to make sure that it's all blended and smooth. So now that I've gotten in that last big chunk, I'm going to go on ahead and add in all of that thyme, and I'm going to add my spices to this as well. We've just added in 1 tablespoon of the Knorr chicken bouillon powder, a half a tablespoon of the Badia complete seasoning, a half a tablespoon of the adobo all-purpose seasoning, 1 teaspoon of the accent, and the juice from the 1 lime. Going ahead and give all of that a good mix. Look at how beautiful that is. As you guys can see, I've gone on ahead and added everything back into the pitcher. And now I'm going to go in and I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. That's all I want to add. So we can go on ahead and add that on in there. Give this one final mix. Alrighty, you guys, so I've gone on ahead and jarred it up, and the only reason why I put it in this 3-quart container here is because I wanted you to see the sheer amount that I was able to make. All of the ingredients for this, like I said, beyond the oil and the seasonings, was only $22. So, you know, this will last me quite some time. I'm actually going to break this down into much smaller containers so that I can freeze it, so that I can have it readily available. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And if you guys have, you know, your own way of making it or any suggestions for when I make my next batch, let me know down in the comment section. And when you guys go to store it, like I said, if you're going to freeze some of it like I'm going to, just make sure that you write the date that you prepared it and when the expiration date is so that you don't forget it. So yeah, this is pretty much what it's looking like. And then this I'm going to put in the freezer. And although I put 6 months on there, you know, because that's just simply from when I made it, but because it's going to be in the freezer, the lifespan for this is actually going to be a lot longer.